What's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. Hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. And today, as usual, we're going to continue with the Daily Stoic, and I will read to you two more meditations out of this great book. So, let's get started with the first one. Nothing to fear but fear itself. But there is no reason to live and no limit to our miseries if we let our fears predominate. Seneca Moral Letters. In the early days of what would become known as the Great Depression, a new president named Franklin Delano Roosevelt was sworn in and gave his first inaugural address. As the last president to hold office before the 20th Amendment was ratified, FDR wasn't able to take office until March, meaning that the country had been without strong leadership for months. Panic was in the air, banks were failing, and people were scared. You probably heard the "nothing to fear but fear itself" soundbite that FDR gave in that famous speech, but the full line is worth reading because it applies to many difficult things we face in life. Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. The Stoics knew that fear was to be feared because of the miseries it creates. The things we fear pale in comparison to the damage we do to ourselves and others when we unthinkingly scramble to avoid them. An economic depression is bad, a panic is worse. A tough situation isn't helped by terror, it only makes things harder. And that's why we must resist and reject it if we wish to turn this situation around. Preparing on the sunny day. Here is a lesson to test your mind's mettle. Take part of a week in which you have only the most meager and cheap food. Dress scantily in shabby clothes. And ask yourself if this is really the worst that you feared. Is it when times are good that you should grit yourself for tougher times ahead? For when fortune is kind, a soul can build defenses against her ravages. So it is that soldiers practice maneuvers in peacetime, erecting bunkers with no enemies inside, and exhausting themselves under no attack so that when it comes they won't grow tired. Seneca Moral Letters. What if you spend one day a month experiencing the effects of poverty, hunger, complete isolation, or any other thing you might fear? After the initial culture shock, it would start to feel normal and no longer quite so scary. There are plenty of misfortunes one can practice, plenty of problems one can solve in advance. Pretend your hot water has been turned off. Pretend your wallet has been stolen. Pretend your crushing mattress was far away and that you have to sleep on the floor, or that your car was repossessed and you have to walk everywhere. Pretend you lost your job and need to find a new one. Again, don't just think about these things, but live them. And do it now while things are good. As Seneca reminds us, it is precisely in times of immunity form care that the soul should toughen itself beforehand for occasions of greater stress. If you would not have a man flinch when the crisis comes, train him before it comes. Alright, guys, that was two more great meditations out of this book, and we're going to continue as usual, but tomorrow with two more. So, thank you for joining me today. See you tomorrow. Bye.